All right. Uh, Second review I'm filming today, but I've been watching a lot of movies, so I got to get these done while I still remember the storylines well enough. So this was actually not. Yeah, it ended up being a little bit better than I thought it was going to be, I guess. But yeah, it looked interesting from the trailer, and sometimes I just like to branch out a little bit from what I normally like to watch, like the action or horror movies. So I thought I would give this movie a chance. Because it wasn't. I don't think it was a Netflix film. I think it was just on Netflix, like a film that was on Netflix, not a Netflix original film. I could be wrong, but I mean, I've watched some Netflix original films that ended up being really good. So yeah, I can't really say much for. Sometimes they're hit and miss, right? But this one was about. I believe it was supposed to be. I don't know whether she was. She was obviously older than her sister, but I don't know whether she was supposed to be like in her early 20s or late teens. Uh, oh, I guess it says an aspiring teen singer. Oh, so I guess she must have been in her late teens because she looked like she was almost like probably like 18, 19 maybe in this movie. Uh, so so their dad goes to jail in the very beginning of the movie for smuggling a bunch of contraband across state lines without even knowing that he was doing it. But I guess the person who he was doing it for had had a previous record and he had never had one, so I don't know why he would think that maybe all of the stuff he was taking with him was necessarily legal, right? I don't know. I would think I would be double. I would think I would be, yeah, double thinking that, or rethinking that whole situation before I even really went into it completely. That would just be my thought process. Like maybe this isn't the best decision in the world. But so Haley Mays and her sister Brooke Mays end up going to visit their dad, and I don't know why their dad isn't even credited in the film at all. At least I don't think he is. Like I don't see him anywhere, and you would think that he would be, unless their father's name was Dean. Unless it was Dean and he just goes by Dean, but I don't think that's right. It can't be right. No. Oh, wow. So, yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense as to why he's not credited, but I guess it is what it is. So their mother's name is Candace Mays, which, so they end up running away from home, and I believe, yeah, it must be their grandmother's name is Cheryl, or Erin Mays, sorry, played by Cheryl Ladd, and Candace Mays was played by Rachel Cannon, and Haley Mays was played by Savannah Lee May, and Brooke Mays was played by Darcy Lynn Farmer. And then we had some secondary characters that kind of came in as Haley was picking up on her music career because she decides that she is going to use that to raise the money to bail her dad out of jail. And she needs quite a bit. I think she needs $50,000 was the total that she needed. And she unfortunately, I don't know, falls for the trap of kind of signing her life away to this. I think it was, yeah, was it Rufus Gibbs that she signed her life away to in the very beginning of the film? I believe it was. So let's just go to images here and see if there's anything. There's got to be. There's got to be some, I would think, of her and Rufus together. Rufus, where is he? Maybe not. Wow. Okay. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was Rufus that said he was going to help her out with her career, and then when she kind of flatlines on her first performance because she has serious stage fright, he just goes off the rails, and luckily Maddie was there to help her out a little bit. And even the second time, you can see, even though Rufus did apologize for what he had done and her, tried to help her out, she still was a little bit scared because I guess she was in front of an even bigger crowd the second time around, so it really made no sense because obviously going from like um, the small town brewery to like being on a stage in front of people at the rodeo, like the rodeo draws in a pretty big crowd, right? So yeah, she was obviously still a little bit scared. So then Maddie helps her out again with that, and I think it was lupus that Maddie had. So she suffers from if she's like highly stressed, she'll end up passing out, and it's only getting worse. So by the end, Maddie has started to fall in love with this Colin McKee guy, played by Shane Henry, who also turns out to be not a bad musician himself. So the music in this was actually fairly good. Uh, but yeah, some of the acting was a little bad, and again, I mean the storyline was okay, but I think the acting could have been slightly better, and I found myself kind of getting bored in certain parts of the movie. Um, so yeah, I don't really think I missed anything in this movie, but yeah, it was just kind of seemed like, yeah, it just got kind of boring, I guess, to me, in a sense. And Rufus had some serious gambling issues. Can we just go over that for a minute? Because Haley ends up raising the money for her father, and then he gambles it all away on racing at the racetrack, so betting on a horse. But it turns out he was a minor when he bet, so yeah, they could have gotten the racetrack in a lot of trouble there because they let a minor bet on horse racing, which would have been big no-no. So they end up giving him the 10,000 back that they skimmed off the top of him. And they bet on the horse, and then they get a lucky break, I guess, because the horse that had won ended up being disqualified. So the horse that they bet on was the runner-up. So they end up winning the 50K. And then when they realize that Maddie's lupus is getting worse, they decide that they are going to actually use the money to um, help her get the treatment she needs, which was a nice gesture, obviously. And I guess, I believe Erin says that she's going to come out of, I don't know, yeah, I'm saying her real name. Erin decides that she's going to come out of retirement again to, I guess, help raise even more money to finally get their father out. But then her love interest, who was played by Bill Jenkins, Mr. Daniels, said that actually he used to be a lawyer back in the day, I guess, and he said he would help out pro bono, which means for free, to help their father, and he ends up getting him actually out of jail. So yeah, I guess it all worked out in the end because they didn't actually end up needing to raise another 50K to get their father out, and the 50K was used to obviously help Maddie get her treatment, and yeah, it had a happy ending, I would say, for sure, this movie. But yeah, it wasn't the most. Yeah, there was something that I really just didn't like about this movie, and I'm trying to remember exactly what it was because it's been a couple days since I've watched it, but I do remember a fair chunk of the story. But yeah, I think maybe it was just the acting itself in certain scenes that was just a little off for some reason. Yeah, like maybe not the best acting. Like it definitely wasn't a Hollywood blockbuster film, that's for sure. So I did give it a 5 out of 10, and yeah, it got a 5.2. So I mean, I was right around what everybody else thought of it, uh, as far as that goes. So, but yeah, I think that's about all I can say about this film, really. Um, I mean, I would say go watch it for yourself because it wasn't like the most horrible thing I've ever seen, but it certainly wasn't the best. It was kind of in the middle for me as far as that goes. I guess that's why I gave it a 5 out of 10. That would make sense. But anyway, yeah, I guess I will see you guys in the next review because I got 2 more to go, and then hopefully I can actually make it through a movie today. That would be nice, without falling asleep in the middle of it because that's what I've been doing the last couple days. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next review, and bye bye for now.